Don't get eaten by space sharks? What?
Oh no. Okay, well, I tried to do the thing. It didn't work this time. It's fine. But we're live now. Hello, everyone. I am super extremely professional at this, in case you couldn't tell. But yeah, welcome to session 4 of Together Among the Stars. I'm Rick. I'm the game master for the Hammer of the Gods podcast. Also, obviously, do some streaming here and really wherever people let me do things with them. So, yeah. Emily, would you like to tell us who you are, where we can find you?
Yeah, I'm Emily or Vay. I'm most of the time on here. Um, on Friday nights for Fixies 5, I play Karani. And then I'm here now, obviously. So I
Sometimes you're
wasn't.
the dungeon master for a bunch of us Chaos Gremlins on here.
That's true. I do one shots a lot. Working on longer things, world building. And I paint minis on Instagram, and I exist on TikTok, but I haven't done much on there because I don't know how to use TikTok. And since it might be banned anyway, maybe it's for the best. So,
They keep saying that, but it hasn't happened yet.
yeah, it's just, we'll see.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
excellent. So
that's
before we
what
get
I do.
started, I've got some announcements. Thank you, Artemis, once again for the announcements. Our sponsor, as pretty much always, I think, is Canadian Dice. You can go to canadiandice.ca and use the code THEVACTAIR, all one word, or Dice Daddy at checkout for 10% off your order. And this week, I think it's already gone through once, but Maggie's Dice Pick of the Week is the Unicorn Dream set. It looks like cotton candy. Artemis says don't eat them. I'm not telling you that, but
Might be
fine.
bad for you.
It's fine. We don't know that. Next up is the merch store. We mentioned it. It's a new merch store. It's the, society6.com/VacTairTTV, where you can get all kinds of awesome stuff. I should have worn my Vactair shirt today, but I forgot. It's
Still
fine.
dirty.
It's cold, and I wanted to wear a hoodie. So
They do come really fast. I can vouch for that for sure. Like you order it and it gets there
like how
in a
fast?
week, I think.
Oh,
Like I think I ordered mine on a Friday or Saturday and I got it next Tuesday or Wednesday.
I
I don't know. Or I got it the same day that we had stream, but it was like within like a week. And they like print it and then ship it. So
see.
it's
I thought about ordering to try and get it before GaryCon, but I figured we wouldn't have enough time. But I might have to try.
so I was worried about that, and sure enough, it did
Yeah.
come.
So
So
I'm not representing today, unfortunately, but awesome shirts like the Half Orc Energy, the Vac Blob, and I think Sophia got the Vac Pack, the Vactair backpack, which is pretty freaking sweet. If you're not in the Discord, you're missing out because there's all kinds of ridiculous stuff and cool merch sometimes. And then our last announcement is the busy week that the Vactair has, which is not a surprise to anybody because holy shit, you guys do so much. I guess I should say us guys because I'm part of this. So tomorrow, Sunday, Artemis Naffy will be over on DM Jeremy's channel at 7:30 p.m. Back here on the Vactair Monday at 8:30 for Mistwalkers. Wednesday, Affy and Artemis are over on Goodman Games Official at 9 p.m. for the Wasteland Saga, which is Mutant Crawl Classics. Holy crap, that's hard to say. Thursday is DM Sophia's game, Song of Crystal and Shadow, the Final Fantasy D&D campaign. I think it's Final Fantasy 14, maybe? Sounds right. I don't know. That wasn't in my notes. That's at 8:30 on Thursday, and then Friday, as always, is Fixies 5 at 8:30. So yeah, come check out all of the awesome streams. And anyway, that's all I've got for announcements. So Emily, you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Awesome. You know, probably would help if I pulled up my rules. I sent them to you, and then I forgot to pull them up as well. But I will have you go ahead and roll a d6 for me, and we'll do our first roll of the game.
3.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I think it makes the most sense. Kind of how this works is that we are space explorers. I started off doing this as the solo version, the Alone Among the Stars. And in that, I decided, like, oh, you know what? Being a space ranger sounds cool. You know, like the Buzz Lightyear space ranger type thing, just out there exploring. And so that's kind of what I went with. Everybody's kind of stuck with that so far. And yeah, so we explore really wherever on the ship, the ITV Griffin. Haven't really decided a whole lot of information about it. I think it's big enough to fit several people because, you know, we've had multiple people and now we have dinosaurs on our ship and
Oh.
they're baby dinosaurs, to be fair.
Oh, okay. Just little ones.
Yeah, it's fine. Easily distracted, sorry. Remembered that I didn't have chat up. But yeah, so as we travel between these planets on the Together Among the Stars version, there's an extra roll that you can do that is kind of how your travels go, more or less. And you rolled a 3, so on a 3, we make up a game. And since you're the one who did the rolling, usually I have that person kind of respond to the prompt, and then, you know, the other person can add to it. So on a 3, you make up a game to play during a long, empty stretch of space. What are the rules like, and who wins?
Ooh.
And it doesn't have to be anything super detailed. I'm not expecting you to come up with a complicated game.
I think, like, I imagine, even though it's a relatively large ship, there's probably lots of narrow corridors like you have in, like, military submarine or something like that, or like a aircraft carrier where it's just like these like oval doorways where it's like enough for one person. I imagine that I would probably come up with a game where you're like facing someone else in one of these narrow hallways and you have to try and get past each other, and you have like a handkerchief, kind of like capture the flag.
Okay.
You have to try and like grab the other person's handkerchief without getting yours taken, but you have to do it while you're going past each other, and you can't like pause too long.
Right. You gotta do it while you're in motion.
Yeah. Just got to be like quick and tricky, but I don't think that this is quick and tricky. I think she is just wants to play games. So like,
Yeah.
even though she would be bad at it, she's like, well, this is something we can do in the space that we have available to us. We don't have like a gymnasium, I would imagine. So
I don't think it's that big. I mean,
yeah.
Initially this was a ship that Ranger Beckett was on by himself. Was how I kind of narratively was doing it to begin with, but then had one guest come, and then had 2 guests, and now dinosaurs, and I don't know, Artemis, I know you were in chat. If you remember what else we've adopted, I have honestly lost track at this point.
So it's getting cramped is what you're saying.
Maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little.
Know, especially since Dino Reggie, which was one of the dinosaurs that we adopted, of course. I mean, Dino Reggie, according to Artemis's drawing, was a very small, like a baby long neck. That's going to get real big real fast. So we might need a bigger boat.
I know Reggie learns how to play this game very fast as well, and gets really good at it because there's nowhere to put like a handkerchief on Dino Reggie.
Right.
So it just like runs through while you're playing against somebody else and takes everybody's handkerchiefs, and Dino Reggie always wins.
Perfect. Perfect. That's a great answer. All right. And so if you would roll another d6 for me, we'll go ahead and determine how many cards we're going to draw for this first planet.
4.
Okay, that's a pretty decent planet. And we can always, initially, whenever I started doing this, I would just, whenever we ran out of cards or whenever I ran out of cards for that planet, say that I'm going to go to another planet. Sometimes we've decided, like, hey, maybe this planet, we've kind of run out of stuff narratively that makes sense to all be on the same planet, so, like, let's go somewhere else. Or there's been stuff that's gotten a little bit sketchy, so we're just like, let's not stay here. Like, if Beckett sees an amoeba, he's out.
Still.
Well, and one of the things it does say in the rules, because this is a very rules-light system, and because this is supposed to be kind of like scientists or explorers, and we're not here for combat, it says if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel in danger at any point, feel free to leave, and whether you have cards left or not. Beckett's not always left immediately unless there's an amoeba, other than the times where Affy and Artemis's characters were here and bullied him into staying when there were amoebas. It's fine. Everything's fine. So, got 4 there, and I'll roll for our first discovery, which is a 6. And Emily, I know you won't be able to see on Discord, but just for everybody on stream, again, this is the really cool little dice that I got from Team Drew's Basement. It's not sponsored, but they're by Farian's Forge. I assume that's how you say that. Really cool, a little sparkly. They've got like a FF on the 6. I think they've also got it. Yeah, they've got it on like the 20 or whatever the highest roll is for most of the dice, which is really neat. Ryan, if you're there, consider doing that. That'd be cool. Little Canadian dice logo. And so, a 6 on our discovery means, I believe, we're probably Night Crew again. Yep. So a 6 means that we make this discovery while we're resting, which has been the last, 4, maybe even 5 times that we've done this. Yeah, we did a lot of sleeping on the job. So our card this time is the 9 of Diamonds, which diamonds are living beings. They could be people like or unlike you, fish, dinosaurs, wolves, birds, giant insects, etc. And 9 is deep underground. Ooh. So I think this planet was probably not our first pick. I'm gonna say that it was a very stormy, the surface was a little bit too intense for us to stay outside, and so we sought shelter in a nearby cave and started exploring it, and it just kept going and going. As we explore further, we find these bioluminescent mushrooms, which has been something that Beckett's seen a lot of in his exploration, but this time they move. These are little myconsid type people. I don't know, I haven't decided yet, and we'll see when you roll your roll here in a second what gets added to this, but I'm not sure if they're intelligent. So I'll have you roll a d6. For every discovery that we make, we have the option of further examining, which usually I like to do now that I realize that's a rule.
Cool. So should I roll?
Yes, please.
Right. 2.
On a 1 or a 2, that means that somebody has to draw the feature. If you have paper handy and feel like drawing, you are more than welcome. Otherwise, I'm sorry, Artemis. Not entirely sorry, but a little bit sorry.
some stuff here. Okay. Been doing a lot lately. Okay.
And
So they're
oh,
little mushroom
yeah,
creatures?
yeah. I imagine it's similar, maybe not quite as big, but similar to like the Myconsid from D&D,
Yeah.
where they've got like a little, they're anthropomorphic. They've got like a little face and stuff, but whether they're intelligent is yet to be seen.
Really wide little stalk. And then imagine they move around on these little like root fiber things. They're like
Ooh, I
teeny
like that.
tiny little roots.
Also, I'm sure that Artemis is probably going to really like having you on stream and probably wants you to do it more often since you're willing to do some drawing, and that means that they don't have to.
Hey, 7 years of art school, finally getting to use it.
And making so much money off of it on this stream.
Right? I'm gonna spend way too much time drawing these little things.
That's okay. And no rush, because,
I
I don't want you to...
like...
Go ahead.
I have a little face. It's like very small. Just like... no nose.
Because who needs a nose?
A little small.
Hi, Effie. How are you?
Oh. Just these little, like... I don't know if you can see this. Hold on. Let me make sure my camera's, like, showing what it looks like. Okay, there we go.
That's adorable. Also kind of terrifying with all those legs, but still adorable.
Just, like, curl around like little cilia and just... I would imagine that's how we discovered them while we were resting, because they wanted to see who we were, and so they just started, like, crawling over us, and they used their little root feet to figure out who we are.
Absolutely disturbing.
And they make, like, little noises.
Yeah, exactly. Semi-nightmare fuel.
They're cute.
Everything's fine.
Look at this face. How do you say no to this face? Come on.
The face is too light. I can't actually see the face. I can see the rest of it. I know.
I don't know.
Hold on. Let me look at Discord. Oh, nope. That's not any better. Dang it. That's okay.
Come on, camera. Focus.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's just little dot eyes and a little tiny mouth.
Yeah, we'll just put it in Discord later so everybody can see. I will have you go ahead and roll for our second discovery, as Beckett is, not totally disturbed by this, but a little bit.
6.
Okay. That means, once again, we are sleeping. We're resting. This time, we've got the Ace of Diamonds. So, diamonds, again, are living beings of some sort. Ace... Artemis, can you not hear Emily at all, or can you just not hear stream at all? We absolutely do need all of the doodles from this game for the art reel.
Oh no, can you not hear me?
I can hear you. Okay. Artemis is on the phone. That makes sense. Got it. And I was like, oh no, Please don't tell me that this whole time has just been me and you were silent.
I'm just saying things and no one knows.
Good deal. Thank you, Effie. I panicked a lot for a second. So Ace is my least favorite card, and I have said this every single time. I will probably continue to say it every single time, just because I know this one by heart. Ace is in a field taller than you. So I dislike it because it's very vague. It could be, like the Jurassic Park where you're in the tall grass and everything's taller than you in some sort of field, or it could be a field that's like above your eye line, or probably could be other things. Those are just the ones that I immediately think of. So what kind of living creature, and tell me about this field. Is it still underground? Do we go above ground? What do we do?
I think it is still underground.
I like it.
And maybe it's like, there's like an underground lake,
Okay.
and there's these like very long kind of it's like grass, like the long grasses that you see, but they're like red.
Ooh, okay.
And it comes out of the water, and so we like didn't even notice the water in the first place. And then like as we go into these grasses, there's like, oh, it's like freezing cold, and we're in an underground lake.
Totally
And
fine.
yeah, definitely not creepy. And yeah, and I don't know, maybe something like bumps into us
Okay.
underneath that like lives in the grasses.
Ooh. Getting some Star Wars A New Hope vibes with the trash compactor.
Tentacles.
It's fine. I actually don't know if we've had any kind of tentacly creatures on this yet. So
Well,
I'll
guess
roll-
what? No.
Yeah. I'll roll my examination, which is a 3. So I add a detail that I notice about the feature. Yeah, and I'm going to say that after it initially bumps into us, we see that it is like a mini tentacled creature, almost squid-like, but it looks like a rock almost. It looks like it's hard. Maybe it has some sort of like outer shell. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if a crab and a squid had a baby. Speaking
That's
of
kind of
nightmare fuel.
terrifying.
Yeah, speaking of nightmare fuel, that's
Right?
Effie, just since you're here, this episode, Nightmare Fuel. That's the title.
Yep. We're
Got it for
already
you already.
underground. This is the horror episode.
Mm-hmm. The cosmic horror together among the stars.
That's right.
All right.
True eldritch nightmare.
Like you do. I mean, come on. So I'll have you roll for our third discovery, as Brackett is feeling very uncomfortable. Oh, good.
Nice.
We are again just resting, hanging out.
It's always so
we're the night crew.
relaxed.
We're the night crew. We sleep on the job a lot. And this one is the 5 of Spades. So we finally get some new stuff this time. Let me see. Spades are natural phenomena. It gives examples of huge crystal formations, mirages, vividly colored lightning, strange clouds, rocks eroded in strange shapes, veins of precious minerals, etc. And a 5 is in a treetop. So, I mean, this is an alien planet. There could be underground trees.
Yeah.
Could also be like the Skyrim caves where, you go in and it's like, oh, hey, there's a whole ass like ecosystem here of
Yeah.
stuff you would see above ground.
Cool.
I have to get out of here with those amoebas. Not here for it. This is natural phenomena, not living creatures. So what kind of natural phenomena do we find in a treetop?
Well, let's see. I mean, trees grow like moss and lichen in real life.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something like that, but like the Spanish moss that's like in like Georgia down
Mm-hmm.
south, um, like hangs from the trees. Maybe it's kind of like gangly like that.
Does it
Um,
does it remind you of home? Since
yeah, maybe
you talked
just a
about
little.
possibly being
Oh
space
yeah,
southern,
having
and
a
then we
southern
and then we haven't
accent.
really role played. We've just kind of been distracted by all the
Yeah, everything
goofy
looks
horror
real
stuff.
cool down here.
Yeah, I didn't know you were from Space Georgia.
Space Georgia. Yeah, New New Augusta.
Oh, that's amazing. I will roll my examination because Beckett is definitely curious. Yeah, bad news. My examination was a 1, so that means that somebody has to draw the feature.
Do you have more paper? That's what it's here for.
Yeah, I think
Hmm.
I forgot to mention that whenever I told you you just needed a D6.
I always have art supplies out here, so that's fine. Let's
Fantastic.
see. If we're saying these are still underground, I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
I think they're like kind of squat, fat little trees.
Like a really big shrub almost.
Yeah. And all of this, they have like real weird, like broad leaves. It's not like they're getting sunlight, but maybe they're soaking up the water.
Could be.
And kind of like condensation or something.
And maybe they even, instead of sunlight, since we've already confirmed that they're bioluminescent mushroom creatures, maybe they
Yeah.
absorb, that kind of light.
Ooh, that's kind of cool. Okay, so this is like the jankiest looking tree in the history of the world. I think like.
And yes,
Whatever
Sappy,
this-
that face is for you and your bullshit in the chat.
I think this like it's not curly like Spanish moss. It has that kind of like twisting thing that it does. Yeah. It's like because we're down here in these caverns, it's all like how like deep sea creatures and like cave creatures are like translucent.
Yeah.
So it looks like almost like rice noodles, just like
Ooh,
really
that's cool.
long
Yeah, that's really cool. And
rice
also
noodles.
semi-nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Look, we already said it's the horror episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get ready. I drew a picture. It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, that'll probably have to be for Discord later, but that's okay. And for the art reel,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Try to do a watercolor later or something.
Ooh, that'd be really cool. I am so here for that. And I will go ahead and roll as brackets just like that is terrifying. Really cool. Fascinating. I'm going to take a sample and then I'm going to get the fuck away from it because I don't like it. And we're going to go looking for our next discovery, and this time we have to put in some work. I got a 2, which means that this discovery is arduous to get to. And
Oh, hey, okay.
we've got the 7 of diamonds. It's the all diamond episode. All horrific thing.
All diamonds all the time.
And that one single spade. So diamonds again, living creatures. Ooh. Okay. We don't even have to leave the underground. So 7 is near a volcano, which, it says volcano. I'm gonna make it more vague than that and say this is like a volcanic fissure underground. And we find these like large Um, yes,
I love
everyone loves
volcanoes.
volcano. Everyone
I'm a
loves volcanoes.
fan.
Absolutely not volcanic amoebas.
They love
the
the heat.
the absolute worst. No, so these are like diamond encrusted scorpions,
Oh,
but they're semi-aquatic. So they're like almost a lobster scorpion hybrid.
cool.
And instead of being, the kind of translucent-ish, white color that diamonds usually are, these are actually no. That would make sense. That would make perfect sense. Like you said, translucent. You can see like all the way through them. You can see into their internal workings. So they're like the '90s Game Boys, or everything in the '90s that you could see through.
Yeah. Everything was always just slightly see-through. Look,
Obviously.
it's a computer. This is how you can tell.
Exactly. Amphiboscorps.
Yes.
And if you want to roll your examination for these Amphiboscorps.
1.
Guess
Is
what?
that a drawing one again?
It is.
Oh no, I have to. Okay.
I think we've only had one of the 4 that was not a drawing one.
Gosh.
That's okay. We can save the drawing on this one for a minute.
Okay.
I think Breckett would like to continue exploring on this planet.
Cool.
What do you think, fellow
Yeah,
Ranger?
that sounds good to me.
All right.
There's a lot of cool stuff here. I mean, it's all a little slightly creepy. But,
You might
nothing's
be
hurt us.
underselling the creepy factor here.
Well, all we found is underground so far, so of course it's like, it's just a little creepy.
Yeah, that's fine. Everything's fine. Ooh. I still have my see-through Game Boy Color, and I don't know
really?
how I still have it because I lose everything else, but I still got it. I did roll a 4 though, so that is 4 more cards. And if you want to roll for our discovery,
2.
oh no, dang it, Vince, losing the Game Boys, awful. 2 is another arduous to get to discovery, and this time we've got another ace, the Ace of Hearts. We've not had a heart this time. So
It's
far,
all reds.
Yeah, we've had, other than that one spade. So hearts, I like a lot. Hearts are ruins. It gives examples of mysterious obelisks, vine-covered temples, abandoned dwellings for people bigger than you, a wrecked spaceship, etc. And Breckett, in his many adventures with his fellow Rangers and solo, has found several wrecked spaceships. We found that Space Hot Topic a while back. I don't think it was like a human Space Hot Topic though. I think it was probably some sort of like alien shopping mall. So there is that possibility that there is or was other intelligent life out there.
Okay.
Abby, get out. How do I kick you out of your own channel? The worst. I don't know if you've seen Chat M, but she said ruins from a long abandoned amoeba civilization. And just for background, several times amoebas have like attacked Breckett in his sleep, or he one time landed on a planet that was like all amoebas and they were swarming all over his ship, and he was just like, nope. So they are very, very traumatic things for him.
Gotcha. Probably, I would assume Tethys would know this because these are stories that are being shared during downtime and during travel and things.
Yeah, like it is well known. It is well known on Hermes Station, which has been kind of the like home base for Beckett that he is not a fan of amoebas. He
Yeah.
probably doesn't know that everyone knows that, but I feel like everybody talks about it.
Okay. Some kind of ruins. Am I doing just describing them?
Yep.
Or okay.
Yeah, you get to tell us what kind of ruin we find.
I think like similar to like in the American Southwest, how there's those like pueblo houses that are built into the side of a cliff, and there's a number of other like places where that's
Right.
true as well. Yeah, just kind of like rock that's been hollowed out, and it's like there's like little counters and things, spots where people have obviously like used as beds or something like that. And
I'm just waiting for the commentary in chat to be like, oh, they're amoeba beds.
I think they're maybe slightly smaller than like normal human size, because you don't grow a lot when you don't see sunshine.
So space dwarves.
Yeah. Or like space hobbits.
Both is
Yeah,
fine.
I mean they live in a hillside, kind of.
Yeah.
Cave side. The beds are made from amoeba. Oh, that's great.
I hate it so much.
And I'm sure we find like, you know how people have a tendency to do like so and so was here or whatever. I think we find something like that where it's like little marks to see how someone's grown, or little like I like a child-sized bed. There'd be something that would be like, you don't recognize the language, but it's something like, oh, someone marked their place here.
Right.
Be like 3-fingered hands.
Yeah, and probably in where
Like
whatever
triangular.
like maybe a teenage person's room, there's some kind of like carving that really we're not sure what it is, but Brackett's like, you know, that's probably some kind of space dick drawn on the wall.
We don't know the anatomy of these whatever this species was, but clearly that is a
or I guess I should say it's space genitalia. We don't know what kind of, could be anything.
Yep.
Excellent. I will go ahead and roll. We're gonna, even though we kind of elaborated on that, I want to see what our roll is for examination. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with what I already said, because I got a 3. Yes, we are all 12-year-olds, and yes, Jasmine, it is definitely a plumbus, 100%, because we are now Rick and Morty mates together among the stars. But yeah, I got a 3, which is adding a detail that I noticed, which is, you know, the space plumbus. And I'll go ahead and roll for our next discovery, which is a 6 again. So guess what? We're sleeping. Because Night Crew strikes once again. This one is the King of Hearts. So, hearts again are ruins. The king is floating in the air. So, yes, sleeping in the amoeba beds, obviously. Although I don't think amoebas have dicks, so, you know. And I'm sure it's going to take like 2 seconds before Affy's like, well, these ones do. These are more evolved amoebas, obviously.
couple steps up the chain, the evolutionary chain.
Artemis, absolutely 100%. That is why we keep rotating people, is because everyone keeps sleeping on the job. Somehow
Yeah.
Breckett doesn't get fired, but everybody else just gets like rotated out. So I think what we do, obviously we're in this underground system, probably from our field with the creepy crabtopus thing. We found these dwellings. I'm gonna say, because we didn't really describe where in this cave we found them, it was probably in like a long, more narrow corridor, sort of like a street in
Oh,
theory.
yeah.
And then we open up into a much, much larger area. And so the ruin that we find here is a ruined city. So instead of just these houses, we find all kinds of good stuff. We find like what we can assume to be possibly religious facilities of some sort, that's placed a little bit higher, more of like a place of prominence, all these different buildings that look like maybe markets, things like that. So, a ton of stuff for us to explore. And Breck's just like, holy shit. I have seen a lot of things, but I've never seen anything quite like this.
How do we... how do we even try to get up there?
Very carefully. I do have 50 feet of rope, like every good adventurer does. But
sure.
I don't think that it's going to reach. Obviously, it's hempen rope, because why would you have anything else?
Right.
Space hemp.
Right. Space hemp.
And if you want to roll your examination.
All right. 1.
You know what that means.
I gotta draw it.
Somebody does.
Yeah. I think, like, if we don't know for sure how we could even get up there, Nethys will just start drawing it from underneath so that we have an idea of what this looks like.
Excellent. Yeah, Artemis and Affia, I don't think that they trust the night crew with jetpacks. Just saying. I think that's a danger and a menace to society.
What if we fell asleep while jetpacking? That would be very bad.
Or what if we're sleeping and the jetpack goes off?
Yeah.
Affie says that's racist against the night crew.
What?
Oh no. I don't want to be Gur. A bungee cord. Okay. We could have some sort of like grapple mechanism though.
Yeah.
Breck is just like, oh yeah, I don't ever get to use this, and he just like sticks out his arm and pushes a little button, and it just shoots out a grappling hook. All right. If you would roll for our next discovery, as we climb up on the grappling hook to this floating city.
6.
While we're sleeping in the floating city. Oh, hey, look. Something different. Got the 7 of clubs.
Ooh.
So...
Not all reds. What a shame.
Got 2 that aren't. This time, clubs, this is our first one for today. Clubs are plants and other immobile forms of life. So it doesn't have to be a plant. It could be some kind of life form that's just immobile. But the examples it gives are towering trees, carnivorous pitchers, giant ferns, glowing weeds, floating flowers, oozing mushrooms, etc.
Okay.
Absolutely, Breckett is just Space Batman.
Space Batman. Oh, what kind of plant?
or other immobile form of life. Ooh, Jasmine says a corpse flower.
That would be very cool, actually. Yeah, maybe something that's like smells really weird, but is super beautiful.
Yeah,
Just like one, it's like a big plant and there's only one bloom on it, and it's like big and kind of purple and smells a little bit like fish because there's been a lot of crustacean-y like looking creatures down here,
yeah.
like squid and lobster and all sorts of nonsense. Yeah, maybe something like that.
Okay, I dig it. I mean, Beckett hates it, but Rick is cool with it because I don't have to smell. All right, so for my examination, I got a 6, which, we've not had yet either. I think we've now hit just about all the things other than the different numbers on the cards, but a 6 is I record how the feature changes in some way.
Oh,
So I feel like as we're kind of examining it and it, has this horrific smell to it, it maybe isn't open at first, but as we approach it, it opens into full bloom. And so we're able to see the smell obviously gets 10 times worse. It
Yeah.
is just rank when it opens up. But it is just this gorgeous, probably to go with the recurring theme, bioluminescent. Maybe this purple flower has like a almost like glowing black highlights to it, or I guess you can't really call them highlights if it's black, but
like black
Yeah.
light, maybe like
ooh,
that like very dark blue purple.
Brackett's like, this reminds me of Ranger Academy. I think I had a poster like this once. All
I might
right.
have had one of those too back in my younger years.
Back in space, Georgia.
Yeah, back in space, George. You, Augusta.
Dark Shadows. Ooh, lowlights too. That's also
Oh, yeah.
good. So we've got one card left, and we've got a little bit of time. We did actually start on time, for real this time.
For real.
I mean, I was on time last week ish. Either, well, I guess it would probably have to be Affy. If you're not super busy after stream, if you can show me how to make the chat show up so that whenever we post this on YouTube that people can see the chat, that would be amazing, because there's just so much gold that gets missed out. Like I try to kind of say what people are saying, but it's just not the same as actually being able to see it. Yeah. Did you roll? I'm sorry.
Oh no, sorry.
Okay.
I'm like zoning out. I'm just excited to be. I'm happy to be here.
I get it.
I got a 2.
All right. This is our second time today putting in some work.
Alright.
Mostly, Affy, I don't know how to make the chat show up. But yeah, I mean, whatever we want to do, that's fantastic. I'm here for it. So our last, for right now at least, is the Ace of Spades. If only we could play some Motorhead right now. But we would get taken down.
Right.
So Ace, again.
Just make it up ourselves.
Exactly. So Ace, again, is in a field taller than you, and spades are natural phenomena. Hey, thanks, Aaron. I got them from Walmart, not sponsored. I love them a lot. I don't know if you can still get them there, but they're really cool. I don't know if you have stream pulled up, Emily, but these cards, they're like partially see-through. So I figured it kind of made sense for space.
It does.
100%. I bought them because we were going to play Deadlands one time, that we never played.
Yeah.
After several of us bought a bunch of books for it and made characters and got really excited.
Oh no.
Actually, I take that back. On a tangent, we played one time, we found a Wendigo, and then we never played again.
Oh.
Like, it
So-
attacked us, and then we just ended forever on a cliffhanger.
No. That's awful.
It was a great time. I love it so much. Yeah, so what kind of natural phenomena do we find in this tall field underground?
If we're still in that like floating city area, maybe there's like a field of like interesting underground like flowers that kind of look like coral, but they move like just kind of very slowly. And as we're like getting into them and starting to take a look, they like give off these like puffs of very sweet smelling like pollen.
Okay.
And I don't know what effect that might have on us, but
It really is like my academy days. Also,
Maybe-
fuck you, Artemis, and thank you for the hydrate and the posture check.
oh,
Let me be comfy, okay? Comfy and wreck my back.
yeah.
Alright, let me roll my examination. It's a 1. So,
Here we go. You know what this means now,
see, Jasmine gets it. A curved spine is a happy spine. It's fine.
right?
Alright. So yeah, the drawing is the examination for that. So, we're almost at an hour. I'm okay with either way. If we want to roll and draw a few more cards, totally cool. If we want to call
Yeah.
it here, that works for me too.
Do that. Just a couple more cards,
Now we're gonna get a 6.
right?
Whenever you're ready, if you want to roll for that.
I did get a 6. I did.
I knew it. That's usually how it goes. That's okay. I mean, there's not like a strict time limit until Affy just kicks me off.
Yeah.
All right, got 6 more cards. Oh, I know, Artemis. I just the hour is a good mark to like kind of keep to sometimes, except for maybe this time. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and. Oh no, I can't go all day. I did that a couple times already, and it was fantastic, those 12-hour streams, but those are very few and far between.
Yeah.
All right, our first, this new set of cards, still on Underground Cave Planet, is a 3, so we come upon this suddenly, which is an 8 of diamonds. So, diamonds are living beings. Ooh, okay. 8 is on a glacier.
Ooh.
And I think as we continue through this cave structure, it feels like we're going up for quite a ways. It's a little bit hard to tell, being underground's disorienting, but you can kind of generally tell, like, oh, this is probably up because gravity, And we find our way outdoors. We find an exit for the first time to this cavern system and find ourselves out on like the side of a mountain, half covered in a glacier. And the diamond being living beings, I'm gonna say we find these like 7-legged goat-like creatures. But to keep with the horror nightmare, ooh, Aaron, I do like that idea, the snow crabs. Um, I'm gonna keep going with what I've got, but I'm gonna bank that for later because that's a fantastic idea. Um, Meaning I'll totally forget about it later, and I apologize. But yeah, so these seven-legged, they're similar to goats. They're hairy. They've got horns. I'm gonna say they have like the twisty kind of goat horns. Um, but to go with the horror theme, they have uh, vertical slits for mouths, and it is just full of razor sharp, very almost like needle-like teeth. Like, yeah, they're super cute until they open their mouths. The legs are absolutely in a circle. They're like adorable goat spider horror creatures.
That's terrifying.
You're welcome. If you want to roll an examination, or you don't have to.
Yeah, let's do it. 3.
Okay. 3 is something. Oh yeah, you get to add a detail you notice about this horrifying abomination.
I think like as we're getting closer and trying to stay hidden so they don't see us because they're trying to, we don't want to. We don't want them to see us.
And as Jasmine pointed out, it can turn very fast in any direction. So
right. I think like as we're getting close, we've got 2 like goat eyes, but as you get closer, you see like another set of eyes slightly above that are like solid black.
Ooh.
That are just kind of like right below where the horns start.
That is terrifying, and I love it.
Yeah.
Breck is just like, I don't think I would call it 4 eyes to its face, but I think I've seen enough of this, whatever it is. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll roll. Or no, I just rolled for that discovery, so you can go ahead and roll for our next one.
Okay. 6.
Okay. 6 means we're sleeping, which I don't know how well. Well, resting. It doesn't actually say sleeping. Because I don't think that it's very restful or that a whole lot of sleep is happening after all the things we've seen. But we're gonna break again with our reds and our diamonds. We've got the 5 of clubs. So, clubs again are plants and other immobile forms of life, and 5 again is in a treetop. So we could be back underground. We could be still out on this glacier. We could be anywhere.
Okay. It's plants or something. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe in the treetops.
Mm-hmm.
I think like we get past these like terrifying creatures and need to like take a break for our own mental health. And so we find these like more of these trees and climb up to just try and rest. And let's see, I think, oh boy, some kind of something.
It definitely is something.
I think they're like berries. Like some kind of little translucent berries that are a little bit iridescent.
Okay.
And they're just maybe like this big, and they're like kind of clustered in bunches.
So do we find,
Berries.
is it just like a thing of grapes on the ground, or do we find like the plant and it has bundles of berries?
I think it's like a plant growing on the tree, like some kind of viney
Ooh, almost
plant.
like mistletoe, maybe.
Yeah,
But
yeah, like or you know how like poison ivy climbs up trees
mm,
sometimes? Um, that kind of thing.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Um,
Brecken's
yeah.
just like, I dare you to try it.
All right. I'll pick one and eat it.
Okay.
And hope I don't die of some sort of poison or something. Um,
I mean, you tell me. There's no GM,
um,
so.
I
Ooh,
think.
ooh, yes, Artemis, please roll on
Let's
the
see.
random magic table. Pretty please.
Yeah. um, I think because like this is not because we're above ground now. I think like it might still be like really stormy outside. Maybe that's just the nature of this planet. And so um all the plants don't like get their nutrients from the same kind of place that they would on Earth. So it's like sugary but a little bit like minerally.
Okay.
Also, like maybe these plants, they get their nutrients from the rock that they grow in. And so, yeah, like these berries taste a little bit minerally.
And Artemis says you got the purple tongue.
Oh, great.
I can't remember, is the purple tongue also where
Yeah,
it's numb?
I think so. And
That's what I
then I
thought.
talk like this for a little while. I could do a southern accent like this.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that so much. Yeah, so let me roll for my examination real quick. 5. So, after you pick it, because a 5 is I record how the feature changes in some way.
Oh,
After
yeah.
you pick it, it starts to like retract as almost seemingly a defense mechanism. So, let me see. You rolled that discovery, so I'll go ahead and roll for the next one, which is a 3. So we come upon this suddenly. We're back to the reds with the Queen of Hearts. So,
As it should be.
absolutely. Hearts, we are
Those
back
do look
to
cool.
ruins of some sort, and the Queen is in deep water. So, I think we probably go back into the cave system and maybe find a different set of tunnels, only to
Yeah.
find some sort of. We don't know how big this body of water is at first. Sorry, laughing at chat. Aaron's off with your heads for the Queen of Hearts. So, our flashlights, because we're space rangers, so I just kind of picture that most of these planets, I imagine that the atmosphere is pretty breathable, just because it's convenient and I don't want to wear a helmet all the time. Even though this is pretend and I don't have to actually wear the helmet, I still don't want to do it. But I just picture like, a little shoulder mounted kind of thing for a flashlight. And yeah, our light does not reach any kind of walls other than the ones, immediately nearby. So we have no idea how large this body of water is. But of course, to get into the water, you do have to have a helmet of some sort or a breathing apparatus. So Beckett just kind of grabs his helmet. He just keeps it like attached to his hip just in case.
Yeah.
It's just like, well,
Belt loops.
Tethys, you ready? Let's do this.
Yeah, let's go.
Dives under the water. While we don't have jetpacks, we definitely have some sort of like propulsion system for underwater because that's somehow safer, maybe.
Yeah. Some little
And-
like fan that like pulls the
Exactly.
water through.
Exactly. Oh, there's probably going to be something with lots of arms, but we're on the ruins. Actually, but going with that theme, thank you, Jasmine. We do find another, not quite a city, but some sort of like small structure, and it does have what looks like maybe the Crabtopus, but as a statue, and it is fighting with our seven-legged goat nightmare creature. So Breck is just like, do you think they worship these creatures, or how does this work?
Or maybe they worship them, or maybe there's some kind of like weird animal fights or something.
Could be. We don't
Like
know what their
Pokemon
culture is.
battles. They battle them like Pokemon. I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that classic, that
Yeah.
ancient Pokemon
In
game.
the history books, heard about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The legends of
Must have
Pokemon.
been based on this civilization.
Probably. That checks out. If you want to roll your examination, see what we get.
3.
I mean, obviously, space always has to have Pokemon and Hot Topic
Right.
and all the good
Space
things.
Pokemon, Space Hot Topic, all this stuff is just par for the course. Every civilization has Pokemon.
Beckett,
Clearly.
after, I think what I'm going to add, because the 3 is, oh wait, no, sorry, that's yours. You get to add.
You
I
can
do
if you
think-
want.
Well, I was going to say, I want to add something to my initial statement, and then you can add your thing
Oh, yeah.
as well. Beckett's like, a few weeks back, I was with a couple of other rangers in this strange, almost shopping mall like ruin. And now that I think about it, I did see some. I wasn't sure what they were, but I think I remember reading in the history books about trading cards, and I remember seeing these things. I don't know why I forgot about it. Probably trying to block it out of my memory, because it is pretty horrific. But I think you might be right. I think these might be space Pokemon.
Yeah. Wow.
So whatever detail you want to add to that.
Maybe there's some sort of like on the statue there's like or the statues there's like remnants of like paint, like
Okay.
maybe they use some sort of like battle paint or something on these things and like jazzed them up or whatever they did this for. Or so maybe like if it was a religion, they were like special goat creatures, special, like whatever. The shiny version. Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a
little
lot.
bits of paint that make it look fancy.
Breck is just like, oh, that's an interesting find. If you want to roll for our next discovery. got a couple more cards to go.
3.
3 means, let me see. Oh yeah, we come upon this suddenly as well. So this one is the Jack of Clubs. I don't remember if we've had a Jack yet. Ooh, we have not. Not today, at least. A Jack is in the desert, and clubs are plants and other immobile forms of life.
Yeah.
So maybe we find that this planet isn't totally as stormy as we thought. Maybe it was just the one side, and we didn't, classic Space Ranger mistake. Didn't look at the other side of the planet.
Or
other side's just dry.
Side is the side that's like closer to the sun or something, and maybe the planet doesn't rotate, or it rotates in such a way that this side always stays toward the sun.
Exactly.
And let's see. Plants are some sort of mobile life. I think we think that there's these rocks, and we realize they like breathe. Like they look like rocks, but they're like, you can see them like expanding and contracting like they're breathing. And then like at some point during the day, these like teeny tiny little pink buds pop out, so it looks almost like a porcupine. And maybe that's how it like takes in like moisture from the air, and then like stay out for a little bit and then go back in.
I like it. Okay.
I'm getting weird now.
Like, now what I think we started weird and we've just continued weird.
That's true.
Okay.
That's
okay. So I got a 5 on my examination, so I record how the feature changes in some way. I think that they change in color.
Ooh.
So maybe Bracket's just like, I think they're trying to communicate. Maybe it's like, how I think it's squid or octopi, one of them, or maybe both can change colors for communication. I think it's trying to communicate. I don't know if it's talking to us or if they're talking to each other.
It's cool.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. We can get our next one going. Oh, look, we got to put in some work again. We've got the 2 of diamonds, and this one is arduous to get to. So, let's see. Um, 2 is Under the Light of the Moon. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna humor them this time. There is some sort of desert amoeba, and Bracket just wakes up, and it's like at the edge of our camp, like where we've camped for the night, and he's just like, Tethys. Do you see that?
See what?
Over there.
Oh yeah. Wait, what is that?
I don't want to say, because I don't want to admit that it's there, because I don't know if I'm just imagining it.
Don't confess it.
Bracket is not going to encourage examination of the amoeba.
Enrage the enemy.
Yeah. So I'm going to say we do have 1 card left, but I think that Bracket, as soon as it enrages and starts to like rush towards us, Bracket's just like, nope, out of here. And dramatically, under the moonlight, sprints super far, nonstop, all the way back to the Griffin, and is like there with the ship running by the time Tethys gets there. It's like, I'm ready to go. Anytime. We can go now.
All right. She's trying to keep up, but she's, as we established, not athletic. So, so she's like looking at it, but it's not in any way keeping up.
I mean, really, Beckett is only proficient at running away from his problems.
There you go. Particularly amoebas.
Yeah, exactly. That is entirely his
Deserve
problem.
amoebas.
All right. Well, since we are running away, and that we had one last card. Funnily enough, it was the 3 of diamonds.
Oh,
Let me see. I don't remember what a 3 is. Oh, it's by a gentle river. Yeah, probably more amoebas. I'm
Yep.
assuming. Anyway, so we are out of cards, and I think that's a good place for us to end with
yeah.
Beckett scared shitless. Finally, after all of the other nightmare fuel, he's just like, this is enough. Amoebas, too far. Way too far.
Yep. How dare you?
All right, so yeah, we will end with the Griffin firing up and taking back off into space. I
was fun.
don't remember because even though I've done this now 4 times, I have shit memory. I blame the ADHD. So I don't remember if I did like an outro before, but all the stuff that I said earlier, still a thing. Tomorrow, over on DM Jeremy's channel, check out Legacy of Fire. Obviously Monday, Mistwalkers. Nothing till Wednesday over on Goodman Games. And then Fixius, obviously, on Friday. So, yeah. That's
More
all
dungeon.
I got. Yeah. Emily, you got anything that you want to plug before we head off?
I'm going to GaryCon, so if you'll be there, I'll be there. With
I'm
a bunch of other awesome people.
I'm still trying to find somebody who can, look after the dogs, since that'll be a little bit too long for me to just leave them.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
as soon as I find that, I'm set. I've got my badge. Terrified of the fact, and also excited, to be rooming with Ryan from Canadian Dice, today's sponsor, as the ad is below. Yeah, rooming with Ryan and DM Jeremy, so that should be horrifying and fantastic.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all I've got. So I think I'm gonna end it there. So thank you, Emily, for coming and playing.
Thanks for having me. This is very fun. This is a fun
Absolutely.
game.
And I think I see you
Good
again.
way to work out your imagination, for sure.
Absolutely. I think you're back here fairly soon, aren't you? Like a couple weeks?
I think so.
I don't
April,
know. Artemis has
maybe?
the schedule, and I can't remember. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming and chatting with us, and we'll see you next week.